Welcome to the Kool, the Kareem Matthews podcast. I'm Kareem Matthews. I'm here with my boy, my Ramley, my ace, my point guard extraordinaire, Mr. Rodney Lusain. What up, my dude?
I'm all good, man. Welcome to April. March Madness is finally done.
Man. And I don't know, like, was it madness this year?
Nah, I mean it was
Okay.
exciting. I guess it depends on what you consider madness. Like, was the shit entertaining? Was the shit unpredictable to a degree? Like, was it some stuff that happened that was once in a hundred times type shit that went on? It was some of that, but at the
It
end of
was
the day, it was Michigan and UConn, and
right. UConn was a 2 seed.
yeah,
Okay. A one and a two, and then the two ones was on the other side, Michigan and AZ. And
right.
so it was a lot of chalk, but I thought overall the quality of play was good. You know what I'm saying? I felt like it was well, it's funny because until the championship game, I mean, like in the championship game, I feel like the team shot like 30%.
Yeah,
That was
well, Michigan was doing that. Michigan did that basically to damn near everybody they played
everybody.
in the tournament. Like everybody shot in the 30s.
Right.
Everybody shot a season worst percentage.
Percentage against them, right? But I think what made it worse was UConn was able to some extent do that to them, so it made it where both teams was doing it. Because when Michigan was doing it to other teams, they were still scoring 90.
Right.
So it was like, well, damn, this ain't that bad of a game. Look at how Michigan, you know what I'm saying? Look how good Michigan looked. But when it came up against a team that was just as heavy as them, then all of a sudden it was like, damn, this is an ugly game. Because that was one of Kyle Hurd's arguments was how much better the play is right now, how more skilled the players are. He brought up how that uh, Butler Butler beat somebody or lost to somebody in the chip.
Duke or
Okay, he
UConn. Duke and UConn.
right, and he was saying both those games was ugly as hell. And he was saying how both those games the team shot in the 30%. He was like, it was a brick fest, you know what I'm saying? And then this championship game turns out to be that way. Because his argument when he was saying it was how good Arizona and Michigan were. He was like, both those teams, it's way better than that shit we was watching with Duke and Butler. You know what I'm saying? He was like, both these teams got NBA dudes coming off the bench. And he was speaking on how just skilled the passers are, how Mata can pass, and he got touch and all this. And I was buying all that. And then the championship game ended up being what he was railing against. You know what I'm saying? But I still think overall, the level of play was up. You know what I mean? Overall, like it was crazy because you was showing me some D3 highlights
All right.
of dudes just taking off in D3. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the trickle down. You know what I'm saying? With all these dudes staying in D1, it pushes more dudes down. Like usually, whatever percentage of these dudes would have went on to the pros, which would have left more room in D1, which would have left more room in D2, which would have left, you know what I'm saying? That's the trickle down that it's having. That's why D3 is looking like that, and that's the other part. Everybody from Michigan was a transfer.
Mm.
That was the first time a team had won with a starting five of all transfers. And remember, I think on the last episode, I was asking, I was like, I know Wexenberg or whatever had at least he was at least a sophomore or a junior. That nigga
Right.
was a grad student.
Yeah.
Like he went to some Arizona school, like not even NAU, like Arizona Junior College, or you know what I'm saying, Arizona Presbyterian or some shit like that. But he was there for 3 years before he went to UAB.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we was trying to wonder, was he like a sophomore, junior? He was like a fifth year dude. So it's a lot of that going on now. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the level of play is higher because these dudes is older. You know what I'm saying? And because that's another thing Kyle brought up was some Final Four from back in the day that had Houston and North Carolina. And it was like Elijah Wan. Drexler, Worthy, Jordan was all in one Final Four. You know what I'm saying? That's because dudes stayed. So not that none of these dudes is Jordan or Olajuwon or like that, but it's that, 23-year-old senior, 24-year-old senior kind of play. Like dudes like that play different. They grown, you know what I'm saying? That's what more physicality, you know what I'm saying? More. And that's what somebody else was saying. They was like, my girl was watching this and they was like, these dudes have goatees and muscles. And that was Michigan. You know what I'm saying? They was like, we all grown here. Like everybody is 20 something, you know what I'm saying? And 24 and 18 is a huge difference. You know what I'm saying? 24 and 30, it's not that big of a difference. Those 6 years ain't that big of a difference no more.
Right.
But 24 and 18, you know what I'm saying? And that's sometimes what Michigan was doing to dudes. But I think that's why it was, UConn was getting that off too, though. So that's why UConn could, they didn't have as much talent, but they had that grit and physicality that they was using to punk teams. Because I think UConn's big came from Michigan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like 20 something. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just the new evolution. That's the evolution of NIL is like, these dudes ain't got to rush off to the league now because they can stay in college. If you're not a lottery pick, you're going to pretty much make in college what you would have made being the 28th pick. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Nah, NIL and transfer portal. Let's not forget the transfer portal because today I think is the first day or maybe yesterday was.
It opened at midnight after the championship game. Because that was the other part I was going to say. Well, not the other part, but that was another thing I wanted to bring up about the tournament. Michigan's coach started recruiting that night. Because he was on Dan Patrick the next day.
That you know would have been today.
Okay. Tuesday. Right. He was on Dan Patrick this morning. And Dan Patrick was like, how many hours of sleep you was on? And as soon as he said that, I said 1 or 2. And he was like, maybe 3 hours. He said, because after the game, they went back to the hotel and all these people from, you know what I'm saying? He said, we thought it was going to be a small gathering. It ended up being a couple hundred people there. You know what I'm saying? To celebrate. And he was like, we had a Zoom set up with a recruit for 12:01. He said, and it was 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and we was still at the party. And I said to my coaches, hey, are we going to get on that Zoom? And he was like, he said the coaches was like, nah, that ship already sailed. You know what I'm saying? So he said, we got on it this morning. And Dan Patrick come on at like, you know what I'm saying, 6 a.m. our time.
Right.
So he was saying he had already got on a Zoom for the transfer portal this morning because Dan Patrick was like, has it sunk in yet? He was like, I don't think it's going to sink in till I get my roster for next year settled. And he was like, we got some holes on our roster and we was trying to fill them this morning in the transfer portal. He got on a Zoom this morning, my nigga. I was...
Because USC's coach was on with who's the other radio dude you was just talking about? The Herd. He was on the Herd. And he was talking about how they had all these Zoom setups. And I mean, he talked about last night's game, and he was like, that was probably the most physical game that we've ever seen in a championship game. And he said everything you was talking about, 24, 25-year-olds, these bodies, they grown, they paid.
Right.
And so all that combined made it, he in his estimation, the most physical. So he wasn't really down on the style of play or the stylistics of it. He was like, because if you understand what these dudes are right now, you understand that it wasn't going to be no cakewalks to the whole, especially with them two teams. Because, like I said, and shout out to you, you called for UConn and Michigan, like that was your pick going into
I had Florida.
Right. I'm saying last week when I said who you think gonna win in
Right.
4,
On the reseeding.
you was like Michigan and UConn, and I was like I'm
Right.
on Arizona from the beginning, and I think Illinois gonna get it done.
Right.
And I was just kind of sitting there thinking, like, could Arizona have beaten UConn last night?
Mm,
Um, and I think my final answer was no. Like,
right. Because a lot of they dudes are young.
right.
They got a lot of freshmen that play key parts, and they
Well,
were
they got
saying that.
three. They got three freshman starters.
Okay, right. And they were saying that's what Michigan. That was the difference. They probably was very equal talent wise, but Michigan's talent was 25 and their talent was 18, 19. You know what I'm saying? Because they were saying Arizona had been bullying people all year. Then they got bullied. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and that was what made me have to bow down to Michigan because it's hard for me to root for any college team that's not us. So I wasn't rooting for them, but I had to respect what they did because they beat UConn at their own game. UConn got the game they wanted to be able to win. Before the game, they were saying UConn had to try to hold them in the 60s. UConn had to muck it up. UConn had to make it physical. And they did all of that and still lost. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I was like, Michigan was just the best team. Because UConn played exactly, they held Michigan to 2 threes.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They were saying that they had to win the 3 battle. They did the pregame script, my nigga. They did it and still lost. And Hurley kind of said that after the game. He was like, I wanted to win. He said, we wanted to be out there doing what they doing right now. You know what I'm saying? He said, but how can you be mad at this team that had 22 offensive rebounds against them monsters out there? You know what I'm saying? He's like, usually we get 22 rebounds on the squad, we waxing them. You know what I'm saying? So he even was basically like, yo, I mean, what my dudes got 22 offensive rebounds against that team, and
Right.
we still lost. You know what I'm saying? I really can't ask much more of my dudes because offensive rebounds is the ultimate hustle stat. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like they didn't play hard. They played as hard as they exactly how I wanted. And we still lost. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I had to give it up to Michigan. Like, nah, they was able to beat you however you wanted it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? However you wanted it, they could give it to you.
Yeah. Which, I mean, hats off to them. They did it. Like I think because the assistant principal at my school went to UConn.
Mm,
Did track and field at UConn. So whenever the women are doing their thing or the men are doing their thing, like when they men went back to back, I was basically because the first time they won it, I picked them, and there was only like a 4 seed that year, and I picked them just purely based on Jay Billis on the selection show. Was like the last time the Final Four was in San Antonio, UConn won. And that year it was in San Antonio, so I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go with UConn. And that was the year I think they beat San Diego State. I can't remember if that was because the second year they beat Purdue in the chip. But
okay.
just giving him his really having to school him on, dude, this is what y'all got. Like y'all gonna win it, y'all. I mean, so um I told him before the game, I was like, either Michigan blows squads. I was like, Michigan is built to blow you out. And if they don't blow you out, if you get them into a close game, you got a really good chance. And I was telling him that, like, if y'all can just not let them run away from y'all, then y'all gonna have a chance. And that's like you said, UConn did exactly what they came in to do. But it's hard, and when you was like, it's hard to root for any squad that's not us, I was like, because the last time we was in the tournament, we was taking
Gave
Michigan. We was up on Michigan in the last minute, and that was a Michigan squad because you was like, they got 5 new transfer starters. And I was like, because they got a returning player like Roddy Gale Jr.,
Right, but he don't start.
but he's a returner. Like, I don't know if he started last year, but it's like he was a major player on that team last year that went to, I think they either went to the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight last year. Lost to Auburn. I think that was the Sweet 16. They lost to Auburn. But Roddy Gale is a monster.
And he comes off the bench.
He's 6'4", 220.
With
And
us.
he was not that explosive last year. Like, he was a shooter last year. Like, he was coming in trying to shoot threes, and he hit one of their three. Actually, he didn't even take a three last night. My bad.
That freshman hit one.
Trey McKinney.
He hit a big one. He's number
Yeah,
one. That was
right.
the play that won the game. Because right before that, I think they was down 6. UConn was down 6. And they big got a steal and had a breakaway. But the ball was far out ahead of the nigga. He kicked it back to dude who blew the layup. Then they got the board and missed it again. You know what I'm saying? Then Michigan came down and then the pass to dude almost got stolen. The pass to McKinney. He
Right.
stepped in to catch the pass from getting picked off, then had to like pump fake a dude and step back for the three. You know what I'm saying? And then when that went in, I was like, that's it. That
Yeah.
was your moment right there. You know what I'm saying? And because that would have cut it to 4.
Right.
Like the Mo was building in their favor. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it was a layup.
Right.
He
That
blew
they
the
big should have took. Like, he should have just, because
put it up.
he caught up to the ball enough to be like, all right, let me just stop. And
Right.
I'm still 6'10", 6'11". If I just jump to the rim from here,
I could probably still dunk it.
right. But he tries to save it to a guard or whoever, and it's like, dude, if you really a dog like that, you thinking score all day on that. Like,
Because
I have scored.
he had been, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Even though they was shutting him down, but he was trying to do work down there. He had a double-double.
12 and 13 and 14, yeah.
Okay.
Um, but nah,
But they
Mich-
were speaking on how Michigan had all that length at the basket. Like even if you break your man down when you got there, Mata was there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they was a pro team. They was an NBA caliber team. You know what I'm saying? They had no stars, but it's funny because when you were saying all that, that was another thing I wanted to bring up that I think I want to give credit to. I think it was Kyle Hurd, but he was saying how that night Bam scored 83. Was it 83 he scored?
yeah.
Washington started a 19-year-old, 3 20-year-olds, and a 21-year-old.
And against, yeah, the Wizards, right.
Yeah, Washington did. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? He was like, that's this kind of shit. He said, Bam been in the NBA weight room for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? You put him out against 5 dudes like that, that's what you get. And he was kind of saying that's what Michigan got. You know what I'm saying? They got dudes that's been in these college weight rooms for 3-4 years playing against these 19-year-olds. And when he said that about the Bam, I was like, damn, their oldest dude was 21? Like, come on. That's not even, you know what I'm saying? He would be young in college.
Right, because when you said Washington and you started naming those ages, I thought you was talking about the Huskies.
Oh, nah. He was saying that's who Bam scored his
Right,
83 against.
right.
When Bam was going for 83, this is who was guarding him. A 19-year-old, 3 20-year-olds, and a 21-year-old was guarding Bam, who been lifting weights for 10 years, since they was 11.
Yeah, Michigan. Because actually, damn. I mean, they squad last year was, I felt like, transfer heavy, but they actually had 4 dudes. Did they start all? They started all transfers.
Yeah, yesterday.
Because I ended up going back to when they played us last year. And of course, they had Danny Wolf, who came from like Yale. He's in the league now. He was they started. Remember they started 2 footers last year. They had
Mar-
2 light footers.
oh, and they didn't have Mara.
Right. One was a dude that homeboy brought with him from Florida Atlantic. He was on their Final Four team, Golden.
Mm.
And then Danny Wolf. They had Trey Donaldson, who I think went to he went to Miami. Like he was killing for Miami this year.
Oh, he
Um,
left Michigan.
yeah.
Mm.
Burnett, who started against us last year, but was on the team this year. And I guess
Didn't
he didn't
start.
start. I don't even know if he played yesterday. They had Will Shetter, who played last night. He came off the bench last year against us and had 7. LJ Kason, who was their backup PG, who got hurt.
Mm. Oh yeah, they kept showing him because he was talking
That's
to Wexelberg.
that's why I didn't pick them. Like I have been on Michigan all year.
Mm.
Um, because they went to that tournament in Vegas and killed and
And Blue Gonzaga, right?
blew a few teams, but Gonzaga was definitely one of them. But I
Right.
know that Jalen Rose was a part of that pregame show, and I want to say they might have had one other Michigan dude in the mix
In the Hawaii tournament
in the Vegas tournament.
or Vegas. Right,
It
right,
was
right,
in
right.
Vegas. It was a NIL. It was like for money. It was I can't remember
Uh,
what it was called. It might not have been for money. Let me put my brakes on that. But it was a different kind of program. So anyway, LJK signing then last year, Roddy Gale hit us for 11
yep.
points.
Mm.
Um, and so all that to say, like the fact that he's coming off the bench, especially the
Says
way
a
he is this year, like he wasn't like that last year. Like he was blocking shit, he was dunking shit, he was D'ing up. Like he looked like he just been in the weight room since last year.
right, like most of they dudes.
Right.
Nah, and when you were saying that, I was like, damn, you right. Like we gave in the last 2 years, we gave Michigan one of their hardest tournament games. You know what I'm saying? That's what I kept thinking when they were smashing through the tournament this year. And I kept having to remind myself, this ain't the same squad, but it is still Michigan. And last year we almost put Michigan out. You know what I'm saying? Like we really felt like we got robbed. And a year later, look at Michigan and look at us.
Mm. All right. Well, Burnett started last night, and Burnett played at Michigan last year. I mean, he transferred
Did he
from
start? Oh,
started.
okay. But he played there last year.
Yeah, he came from he's been at Michigan for 3 years. He was at Alabama before that. So
Okay. But he
technically he's
did.
a transfer,
Right.
but he ain't a fresh transfer.
Right. Right.
But nah, they got 3 to 4 dudes who was on the roster last year. Now, the Final Four had Fab Five alt
All
cast.
cast. Right. I was
That you
loving that. They had it in the semis. They didn't have it in the finals. Well, I couldn't find it in the finals.
Yeah, there was very little Fab Five presence that came up. Like they wasn't even showing them during the game. Like,
In the finals?
yeah, when they
Right.
would do
Right.
crowd shots of whatever.
Was they there? I don't even know if they was there.
I don't think they were.
Because after the game, they showed their tweets.
Right.
C Webb tweeted, Jalen tweeted, and it didn't sound like they was from. It didn't sound like they was tweeting from the game. They
Right.
sound like they was watching it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
No, and I've
But
seen
nah,
all kind of posts just from even on Saturday at the Final Four, like just them in the tunnel with Michigan before the game.
Mm.
them walking out to the set where they was gonna do they alt cast from, like there was just tons of just like footage that wasn't even on TV that just people was getting with their cell phones and shit. And so
Right,
you
right.
figure if they was there last night, they would have at
They would have
least
shown
seen some of that.
right. Nah.
But
But
yeah,
yeah, nah, that oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, and I rock with the Fab Five. Like I probably rock with them more than you because I know
Right.
I know you was texting me. I don't know if it was during. I don't think it was during the semifinal, but you was like they giving Jalen credit for the name Jalen.
Oh yeah.
I
Right.
was like, because he was the first Jalen.
Maybe that we can remember. You know what I'm saying? But nah, it's crazy because I was rocking with the Fab Five back then,
Yeah.
but I something happened where because I remember I was like, none of these dudes are gonna win in the league.
Mm.
And I don't think none of them did except for Juwan maybe at the end.
Riding coattails, right.
Right, right. But through the heart of their careers, none of them ever did. But and I remember saying that when they first got to the league, I was like, none of these dudes are gonna win a chip. You know what I'm saying? So something happened at that point that had turned me off on them. But when they were the Fab Five, I was feeling them because they wore the black socks. And see, that's the thing. I feel like we was wearing the black socks before them. You know what I'm saying? Because they was 91 as freshmen in college. We was wearing them in 90 in high school.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, I'm going to tell the story. We played manual. The first time we played manual, I wore some low stripe socks. They had big, thick black stripes on them. So they looked like they was black, but they was really striped. You know what I'm saying? I wore those in our first game against Manual. And then the next time we played them, they all had on black socks. Manual. You know what I'm saying? And that year, Manual wore black socks before the Fab Five. In 90, when they won it in the sports arena, they had on black socks.
Mm.
But when they came to Palisades, they wasn't wearing black socks yet. In that game against them, I wore, but see, mine wasn't black, but they looked black from how I wore them because they were striped socks. You know what I'm saying? Them high socks with the stripes on top.
Yeah.
And so I pulled them down to look like how Jordan would wear his. And so the stripes was bundled at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? And you couldn't really see nothing but the two thick stripes together. So they looked black, but they wasn't actually black. You know what I'm saying? And then the next time I saw them niggas, they was wearing black, but they had actually got black. You know what I'm saying? So I was loving Michigan for that when they were the Fab Five. But it may have been the timeout that we recall. I don't remember what it was, but at some point I was like, these dudes will never win in the league.
Mm.
And I think that pretty much held up until the end when Juwan may have gotten one on them last years with the Heat when he was probably like player coach or some shit.
Right.
But as the leader of their teams, none of them ever won a chip. But I was feeling the reunion though, because they took it back to the 90s. Like they was, you know what I'm saying? They was showing all the shit that was going on back then. Like the haircuts, the shorts, the Harachis that they wore. It was like, okay, yeah. That was hoop back then. If you was a hooper, you know what I'm saying? You wanted the big shorts, you wanted a tight fade, you was probably wearing black socks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Nah, I rocked with them back then. And I mean, I stayed with them probably for 20 years after. Like when they did that for 30 for 30, for the most part, I was cool with everything. Like as much credit as they was taking, baggy shorts, which they didn't start, like
right, because UNLV,
and Jordan before that, but for sure UNLV the year
89,
right.
with Larry Johnson and Stacey Augman in them. You know what I'm saying?
And Illinois, probably
Oh
the
yeah,
year
Kenny
before that.
Battle.
Right.
Right.
And so it's like, all right, Jalen, like y'all taking credit for a whole lot, but I'm gonna let y'all get that off. Um, But then even at the end of that 30 for 30, he goes and just talking about how memorable this squad is. And he was like,
This current squad?
how memorable they were.
Oh, right, right.
And he's like, you know, we didn't win, but you can't name the starting five of the team that beat us. So he's basically like, yeah, they won, but history's forgotten now. And
Right.
I'm like, well, nah, I can tell you. And granted, I don't know who he's referring to, but I'm like, all right, it's a bunch of real hoopers that know who was starting for Carolina the year they beat y'all. So cut that out. But even with that, I still was like, all right, I still will throw on for the Fab Five. But some of the shit they were saying in the altcast, I was like, man, it legit had me rooting against Michigan yesterday. I'm like, dude, I don't want them. Because, I mean, they was talking about our numbers should be retired, and they was just,
They said that?
yeah.
Mm.
And they just kept coming back to it. Like, at one point, somebody's like, they should retire the number 5 for a Fab Five. But Jalen also wore 5. And so I'm like,
Right.
all right, Jalen, that's kind of a sneaky way of saying get
You
your
should
number.
have your number right. They were saying Frieda should be in the hall.
Frieder or Fisher? Fisher.
Fisher, Fisher.
Fisher. I can go with that more than them getting their number
More than
retired.
anything for them.
And Ray Jackson was talking about put our banners back up, and I'm like, dude, you quit. I mean, it was Final Four banners. Like, quit acting like they was chips.
Right. And it's funny because I said that to you. I was like, it's crazy that this is only Michigan's second one, all the shit that they talk. You know what I'm saying? Because even before yesterday, the aura around Michigan's basketball, you would think that Fab Five had won something.
Right.
And that's why, and that was kind of my point about how they would never win chips in the pros. I was like, dude, y'all shit is so hollow. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas wasn't no champs. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what got me off them back in the day. I missed that part of them on the alt cast. I wish I would have heard that because I would have really been back off of them again. You know what I'm saying? I just heard them talking shit to each other because they was roasting each other a lot. Ray Jackson kept telling Chris Webber his breath stank.
Oh wow. Okay.
He said, "Man, you need to Uber Eats a Tic Tac over here." Because C. Webb was saying how bad Ray Jackson's knees and ankles was. He's like, if any doctors in Texas can help this man, he over here walking like Fred Sanford right now. And that's when Ray Jackson was like, man, get this man a mint. He's sitting
Okay.
right next to me.
Nah, I missed all that. By the time I got to it, it was straight route city, and they was just able. I mean, they wasn't even having to pay attention to the game no more.
Okay, yeah. See, I had turned it off at that point because at this point it was still early. Because they was talking, Jalen kept saying how they need 10 threes to win. If we get 10 threes, we gonna win. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I missed the part you saw, you missed the part I saw.
Yeah, and then at the end, Ray Jackson was basically like, I'm tired of us getting here and losing. Like it was kind of a humble point because he was like, "How about we go and win on Monday?" He was like, "Because we keep getting here and losing." But even the way he presented it came off as more of a flex than just being humble.
Right.
And it's like, all right, man, and so Monday, I felt like I was rooting against both teams. I didn't, I would root for UConn, be like, come on, do this. And then they would show Hurley, and I'd be like,
Roll on, Michigan.
yeah. And then UConn would start coming back, and like
Nah, nah,
it,
go ahead.
it was, I mean, I couldn't root for either side.
And
Like,
that's how I be all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can't root for nobody that's not us, man. Like, I can root for y'all for a minute, but something's gonna be like, man, this ain't us. Like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly how I was. I'd be just rooting for basketball. You know what I'm saying? I'm just rooting for, make the right play. Like, oh man, like when Big Man missed that layup, I'm like, dude, that was y'all chance. You know what I'm saying? Not like I wanted y'all to win, but if y'all was gonna win, y'all needed that. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So that's basically how I had started watching the whole tournament since Florida went out. Once I lost a rooting interest, I was just like, man, I can't really get on none of these storylines. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
damn. we started late, and now we was talking before. I think I'm about to run out.
Yeah, you want to hit Gino real quick
Yeah, hell yeah.
as we get out, jump into
I
the
mean,
women's
we was
side. Shout out UCLA for winning it. Talking about a school I hate.
man, and it's crazy because the Big Ten gets credit for that.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I keep forgetting because they keep talking about how dominant the Big Ten is right now. Because I think the last conference to do that college football, men's basketball, women's basketball was the SEC
Mm,
with Florida, Tennessee.
mm,
Florida won football, basketball, and then Tennessee won the women's. So the Big Ten got that off.
right.
Indiana, Michigan, UCLA. And I was like, wait a minute, UCLA ain't, oh yeah, they are Big Ten. You know what I'm saying? Because then they was like, the Big Ten has the number one team in baseball. And I was like, they do? And I think that's SC
Or
or
UCLA.
UCLA. Right, right, right. And I was like, oh shit, that's who they talking about. I was like, who in the Big Ten is playing baseball like that?
Right.
But then I was like, okay, nah, it's UCLA they talking about because UCLA's dope this year. SC's good too though. But nah, yeah. So Gino, man, that shit with Gino and Don Staley, that was out of pocket. And it was crazy because you were saying it in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like the aftermath, everyone was in cahoots that yes, Gino was wrong. But like as it was happening, you was texting me like Gino just went out like a bitch. And all I was saying was Gino and her was about to scrap. I didn't really get the whole context. But then once you got the context, you was really like, yeah, Gino, what the fuck are you doing? Because he claimed it was some handshake that they supposed to meet out on the court, and he waited out there for her for 3 minutes,
Which
and she
it
didn't.
wasn't 3 minutes, but he did wait for like after they announced they announced the starters, then they announced the coaches. And
And he
usually
was
when they announce the coaches, they walk to half court and shake hands.
right,
And
and
he
she
did
didn't do
walk
that.
to half court, but she stayed in the huddle with her squad.
Right, but she did shake their hands before the game.
Right.
She
Before,
went
right.
down to the, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I guess she was saying she didn't even know about that part that he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? But then the thing is, like, okay, that happened before the game. You was thinking about that the whole game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they were saying. If that's the case, nigga, then you didn't give your team the attention that they deserve.
Mm.
And that's why y'all got smashed. Because if y'all had won, you would have never had brought that up.
Right.
So you saved that the whole game. You was thinking about that the whole game, my nigga. Your team should be mad at you. You wasn't giving us what we needed. You thinking about some petty shit. If that's what really sets you off, if we taking what you saying at face value, then that means you was thinking about that instead of plays to stop them from kicking y'all ass. That's the part that had me like, damn, like, yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Not only how petty it looked, just the fact that you was thinking about that the whole game. If you claim it's some shit that happened before the game and you waited to the end to say something, them 40 minutes in between, you wasn't giving your team what they were supposed to get.
And yeah, that was the first game. So UCLA played after that, and I felt like so every game after that, the coaches didn't shake hands.
Mm.
And I don't know if, like, by Saturday, I felt like they had maybe had enough time, at least in the men's game, to be like, all right, let's throw some dirt on Gino's grave. Like, this
Let's
shit
not
that
do it.
this shit that he's making in the World War III, nobody do it. Like, nobody go to the half court and shake hands before the game. Because it didn't happen either Final Four men's game or last night. It didn't happen in the women's chip between UCLA and UConn, or South Carolina. And I felt like it didn't happen that second Final Four game with
For
UCLA
them
and
in
Texas.
Texas.
Because I was looking, because at this point, Gino done blew up. So I'm like, all right, damn, the UCLA and Texas, they coach is going to be like, all right, well, shit, let's make sure we shake hands. I don't want
Right.
to offend nobody, but they didn't even do it. So it's like, Gino, you mad about that, which shouldn't be mad. I mean, it's not a big deal. And
Right. And then you look so petty. You know what I'm saying? Even if it was a big deal, you focused on that as opposed to the ass whipping y'all took. You
no,
taking their moment away. You know what I'm saying?
no other coaches did the shake hand shit. And then he was making such a big deal out of the girl's jersey getting ripped.
And she ripped her own jersey.
Right.
Yeah, nah. Gino was out of line on everything he was trying to get off. You know what I'm saying? And they was like, that handshake shit. They said, Gino, you the only one in the arena that was mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't nobody else in the arena like Don didn't shake his hand. Gino gonna be mad. You was the only one in the arena, Gino, that was mad at that. That gotta say something. If nobody else was like, why wasn't Don there? You know what I'm saying? And then you save it to after they kick y'all ass. And then when he apologized, he never said her name. He said they staff. Come
Right.
on, man. And then somebody else was like, Gino, try that shit with a man. You ain't never tried that with no men coaches because he was beefing with Pat Summitt too.
Right.
Him and Pat Summitt got beef. You know what I'm saying? I think it was TJ Husmanzada. Was like, Gino would never try that shit with no man. You know what I'm saying?
Which makes him Trumpian in a way, because Trump only wins elections against women.
And he only fires the women on his staff.
Uh,
Everybody that's getting fired is a woman. Kath Patel still sitting back like, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here with the hockey team. I'm doing all kind of foul shit. But he firing Pam Bondi and
right.
Christy Nome. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Nah, because shit, what was I gonna say? God damn it. It's about Gino, and it's about it's just the fact that it was a black woman on top of it.
Oh.
Like,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
fact that Don Staley kind of throws it for black women, like, I mean, she'll
Not
speak up
kinda.
on shit, huh?
Not kinda.
Right.
He
Right.
holding their torchbearer right now.
Right.
Get
Right.
that nigga, Don.
Right. And so the fact that he did that to her, it's like, Gino, that's such a bad look right now. Like it
There's nothing good about that look. You know
and
what I'm saying?
people,
And then the fact that you double down with the fake apology. Like you still petty about it. You know what I'm saying?
somebody compared it to they said that was his Woody Hayes moment. Like they was
Mm.
like I mean, they was like, obviously they waited too long on Woody and he go out there and sock somebody. They was like, this is Gino's warning shot. Like, obviously, it's gonna take somebody with real big balls that you kind of be like, nah, Gino, you gotta go. Like, we feel like it's gonna get worse from here because every step you've taken, and I know they spoke. I just read. I was like, let me make sure I get the latest on what's happened between them two since then. Because they were even saying that I think yesterday there was like Don and Gino have spoken, like he called her. And sure enough, there
Okay.
was something today where Don was like, we spoke, we squashed it, let it go. Like, I ain't holding on to it. I don't want nobody else to hold on to it. So she's basically like,
I'm over it.
bad moment, like, but let's not try to cancel him because of it. And
But she don't have no control over that. I hear you, Don, but that's not your choice. You know what I'm saying? If we want to cancel this nigga, he gonna get canceled no matter what you say.
it's like Rodney King saying, can't we all get
Right.
along?
Right. We hear you, Rodney, but it's not up to you on this. You know what I'm saying? You are the victim, but now it's out of your hands. And that's the same way with Don. It's like, yeah, Don, but nah. You know what I'm saying? Fuck Gino.
Right. I mean, yeah, I
You
can't.
can't say it. She can't say it. You know what I'm saying? She got to take the high ground, but we can say it. And parents can be like, I'm not sending my kids there.
For
You know what I'm
real,
saying?
that's
Fuck
the
that.
ultimate. That's the ultimate flex. Is if
Right.
high schoolers and these parents are like, nope.
Yeah. Why would I send my kid to that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You acting like a child. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You acting like a child. I mean, it's cool that they spoke, but I feel like that's too late, my nigga. Like your opportunity was that apology, and you was still petty in your apology. You know what I'm saying? So whatever y'all did in private, yeah, cool. You know what I mean? But for what you showed in public, you was petty to the end.
And that was Stephen A's point because I think I heard it on First Take yesterday morning. He was like, I think it was the white girl who hosts. She was like, Gino called her. And Stephen A was like, he disrespected her in public. Like he didn't call her and be like, nah, you a bitch, you didn't shake my hand, blah, blah, blah. Like that wasn't done privately. That was done in front of
In
the
front
whole
of
world.
everybody. Right. And then your apology was public. You know
And
what I'm
it
saying?
was
Your
still
apology. Right. You call her, we didn't hear what happened on that. Don is the one that's trying to save you, not even you saying it. Don is saying he called me, it's over, leave him alone. We still ain't heard from you anything apologetic to Don. You know what I'm saying? So he not off the hook in my book. I mean, he can be off the hook in Don's book. And I mean, I feel like she kind of gotta say that, you know what I mean, and not take it to the next level, but that don't quell it for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? We can still be mad if we want to be mad. That was foul.
right.
Like, and again, if that was a dude, you know what I'm saying? It would have been fisticuffs. And even Don was saying, I'll beat Gino's ass. Like, even she said that. You know what I'm saying? So you can just imagine how a man would have felt. Don was like, me and Gino can go. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy.
Right. But nah, I mean, all in all, it was a good season on both sides.
Yeah, nah. The
Enough
Big
to
Ten.
whet your appetite.
The Big Ten, man, they working this NIL thing. And I think I said this to you in the text, but them adding them Pac-12 schools, you know what I'm saying? It's a combination because they got some chips from them already. I don't think the SEC got no chips from their new schools yet. I mean, maybe some minor ones, but not none of the big shit. Maybe some lacrosse or some shit, but you know what I'm saying? The Big Ten is getting major chips from some of their new programs. Oregon ain't won nothing in football, but you know what I'm saying? They helped
Right.
UCLA and women's basketball, the baseball teams. They made a move on the SEC.
Yeah. Nah. It's like I think I said in reply to whatever you sent me, it was like, yeah, the Big Ten has finally figured out how to game the system.
Right. Now you were saying it ain't never been like this in our lifetime.
Right. As much credit as the Big Ten gets, I feel about the Big Ten how you feel about Michigan basketball. I felt
And
like for so long they got so much credit. And at the end of the day, y'all gonna come out here to the Rose Bowl and SC gonna
get
beat y'all
smashed.
ass.
Right. Nah. The
Y'all
whole
gonna see it.
conference was the whole conference was kind of like how Michigan was. Like,
Right.
wait a minute, they only got one? Y'all hyping them up like they win every year. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they Duke or something.
Right. Right.
Nah, but now they actually coming through with some. You know what I'm saying? They actually paying it off now. You know what I mean? Which you can't be mad at because I mean it's kind of like they engulfed our West Coast teams. So if we are gonna root for a conference, that's kind of it. You know what I'm saying? Like half, not half, but 4 or 5 of our big schools is with them now. So all that Pac-12 love, because I keep wanting to give the Pac-12 love, but I'm like, wait a minute, they in the Big Ten now. You know what I'm saying? Like UCLA. Like, damn, that's a Big Ten championship.
Right.
Ain't that a bitch?
They first one since 2000
Mm. Mm.
as a
Damn.
and
Right. Right. That's crazy. All the shit they talk. And ain't
right.
none of them. Michigan State, you know what I'm saying? Indiana, Purdue went undefeated or close to it the regular season. Nothing.
Nah, I mean, it still makes me sick to my stomach to think of SC and UCLA as a part of the Big Ten. Like,
Right. Nah, because I mean, even some of them other squads that we let go, like Arizona State floating around as a non-conference damn near, and they're putting in work in sports. Like, I'm like, yo, that's still Pac-12. Washington State, I'm like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Why did y'all break up again?
right.
What was the reason?
Because of that dumbass media deal.
Right. But I mean, the teams are still flourishing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, man, this conference is falling apart. We got to break up. Like, these teams are still, you know what I mean?
Right. Nah, they was winning shit more recently than the Big Ten or in
Right,
the same
right,
range. Like Big
right,
Ten, y'all ain't won since 2000. Pac-10 had won since 97. So, I mean, what
right,
makes y'all better than us? Why are y'all acquiring us?
right. Why we can't acquire y'all?
Right.
Why we couldn't have picked Ohio State, Michigan? Y'all come out here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or really, it was just going to be Texas and Oklahoma.
Oh,
Like,
that's right. That's right. We
that was
was trying to get them before all this.
right.
Pac-12 was like the first one thinking about that when it wasn't even looking like teams was really going to do that. They had spoke on that.
Right. And they
That would
was
have
going
been
to
the
come. But it was some about the media deal that they was like, nah, we ain't coming if that's what it's going to be. Like,
right because Texas got their own network.
right.
They was like, we ain't splitting that money with y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then BYU was probably gonna be the third squad that came, and look what they doing. Like they flourishing on both sports, basketball
Nah,
and football.
nah, they are. That NIL. They like, we
So,
got that church money.
right. I mean, the Pac-12 could have still been eating even without Texas and Oklahoma. Like if
Right,
BYU just came, like
right. And
that would have
state.
that would have been enough. And if they had done some different shit with their media shit and got this NIL rolling, like
Nah, it seemed
Pac-12,
like they was too hasty on the breakup. You know what I'm saying? If they had waited like one more year for this breakup, it would have been like, wait a minute, we can survive.
right, right.
Yeah. Well, shit. Let's wrap up before my shit run out because I got that warning like 10 minutes ago.
Yes,
So yeah,
sir.
I'm down to 20 minutes, 20%. Thank y'all again, man, for tuning in. Damn, damn, we got to get on the next one, but because some people hit me up about Cooper Flag. Like,
Mm.
how you feel about Cooper Flag now? You know what I'm saying? So I got to give my Cooper Flag update on the next episode. Remind me of that because somebody checked me just like how Rich Clay hit me up on some David
Right. Well, I mean,
David Thompson. But
by the
yeah,
time we podcast again, their season will be over. They last
right. Nah,
game. They
nah.
last
And that's
game
my
is
point.
Sunday.
That was part of my point was he still ain't impacted winning yet. He has shown he can score, you know what I'm saying? But let me see some impact on winning. Because Khan has impacted winning. You know what I'm saying? Khan is a rookie. His team going to the offs. But yeah. So yeah, nah. But yeah, thank everybody. That let me know y'all been listening. We will touch on that topic on the next one. And please subscribe, like, share, and we'll holler at y'all soon. We out.